What's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and share it with your people, because today's topic is fire. We are diving deep into something that's shaking the entire African political landscape, the ANC taking the lead in re-evaluating the role of liberation movements in a rapidly changing global environment. This isn't just another political meeting. This is a soul-searching mission with massive implications, not only for South Africa but for the entire African continent and beyond. Now imagine this, a room filled with former freedom fighters, political strategists, party veterans, and rising youth voices. They're all gathered under the banner of something more than politics. They're grappling with history, with ideology, with legacy. The African National Congress, once the torchbearer of the fight against apartheid, has now called for a critical introspection, asking the most uncomfortable question of all: what is the relevance of liberation movements in a 21st century world where the freedom they fought for is often betrayed by the systems they now govern? Yes, you heard that right. The ANC isn't just calling the shots in South Africa, it's taking charge of a pan-African conversation about identity, relevance, and responsibility. And trust me, it's long overdue. We are now living in a world where Gen Z is questioning everything, where social media lays bare corruption and incompetence within seconds, and where liberation credentials alone no longer guarantee loyalty or legitimacy. People want results, not nostalgia. They want progress, not recycled slogans from the 1960s. So when the ANC leads a summit of global liberation movements, from ZANU-PF in Zimbabwe to Frelimo in Mozambique, SWAPO in Namibia, and even representatives from Cuba's Communist Party, it's not just political talk. It's a crisis meeting of fading giants, desperately trying to stay relevant in a world that's evolving faster than their manifestos. They are confronting a brutal truth: the ideologies that brought them to power are no longer enough to sustain that power. There's a certain irony here, isn't there? These are movements that were born in the fire of oppression, armed with vision, discipline, and the moral high ground. But decades later, many of them have become what they once fought against: elitist, disconnected, corrupt. And now, facing economic collapse, youth disillusionment, rising opposition parties, and a global order in flux, they're asking, where did we go wrong? It was ANC Secretary-General Fico Mbalula who threw down the gauntlet, calling for liberation movements to stop hiding behind past glories and start delivering on the promises they made during the struggle. In a tone that was both reflective and urgent, he warned that the very future of these parties hangs in the balance. Liberation movements, he said, must transform or perish. That's not just rhetoric, it's a warning shot across the bow of every ruling party that came to power through revolutionary means. And don't think this is just about South Africa. From Harare to Luanda, from Dar es Salaam to Windhoek, the story is the same. The children of the revolution are growing restless. They see the economic disparities, the state capture, the lack of opportunity, and they're no longer impressed by old stories of comradeship and struggle. They want housing, jobs, education, healthcare, dignity. The question is, can these liberation movements reinvent themselves fast enough to meet these demands? This summit came at a crucial time when even international dynamics are shifting. China is expanding its influence across Africa. The West is struggling to maintain a consistent policy direction. The global South is rising but fractured. And young people, thanks to technology, are more politically aware than ever before. Liberation movements can no longer function like closed-off brotherhoods of the past. They are now under 24/7 scrutiny, and their survival depends on transparency, innovation, and actual delivery. And let's not ignore the elephant in the room: internal contradictions within the ANC itself. How can it lead a continental movement when it's battling factionalism, scandal, and declining electoral support at home? Some critics argue that the ANC should clean its own house before trying to lead a continental renaissance. But others say this initiative is precisely what the party needs to re-energize itself and find a renewed sense of mission. What made this gathering so explosive wasn't just the official speeches, it was the whispers in the corridors, the side meetings, the young activists who pushed back against the elders, demanding accountability and new ideas. For the first time in years, the old guard was forced to listen, not just talk. They were reminded that revolutions do not belong to one generation, they evolve, they shift, and they demand constant renewal. Some delegates argued for digital transformation within party structures. Others pushed for economic policy reforms that truly benefit the masses, not just a connected elite. And there was a strong call for unity, not just among liberation movements, but across African nations. The dream of a united, self-reliant Africa remains alive, but it's clear that the old methods won't get us there. In the end, this was more than a summit. It was a mirror. A painful, honest, necessary mirror held up to parties that once embodied hope and now risk becoming symbols of disappointment. But there's still a chance. A chance to reimagine, to reform, to reconnect with the people. The ANC has taken a bold first step by initiating this process. The next step will determine whether these liberation movements remain relevant architects of Africa's future or become relics of a romanticized past. If they fail, others will rise. New movements, new leaders, new voices. But if they succeed, if they truly embrace change and humility, they might just spark a second liberation. One not defined by guns and exile, but by integrity, service, and a genuine commitment to the people. So, what do you think? Are the liberation movements ready to evolve, or is it too little, too late? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments section. And don't forget, subscribe, like, and share this video if you believe Africa deserves a leadership that learns from its past but boldly faces the future. Peace.